What if I told you that corruption isn't just in the government offices or backdoor deals? It's sitting quietly at the dinner table, applauded in music videos, and even baptized in our pulpits. What if the greatest threat to our future isn't evil, but the excuses we make for it? A father teaches his son to lie to avoid a ticket. A businessman cuts corners and calls it smart strategies. A student cheats and says everybody does it. Corruption isn't just a crime, it's become culture. And culture is more dangerous than crime because once something becomes normal, we stop questioning it. Corruption isn't just about stealing money or political scandals. It's about moral decay, the slow erosion of right and wrong until there is no distinction. It's when we justify the wrong, protect it, glamorize it, and even pass it down. Corruption as culture is when sin becomes style. It's when integrity becomes optional and convenience becomes king. This message isn't about pointing fingers. It's about looking in the mirror and reclaiming the standard. Because a society can survive its fools, even its tyrants, but it cannot survive the normalization of corruption. If this resonates with your values, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We are building a community that lives with truth and lives with purpose. I want you to know that what you tolerate, you teach. What you tolerate, you teach. Culture is created by what we celebrate and what we excuse. When a parent overlooks a lie, they are not avoiding conflict. They are uttering a future. When leaders cut corners and people clap, that's not success. It's systemic failure dressed up as brilliance. Corruption becomes culture when it's not confronted, because silence is agreement and tolerance is permission. Proverbs 14:34 says, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. We've traded righteousness for relevance. We've made wrong comfortable because conviction is inconvenient. Leadership isn't about being liked, it's about being light. And light doesn't negotiate with darkness. Another thing that happens when corruption has become culture is that excuses become identity. And one of the most dangerous lies of our time is that's just how things are. We hear it in phrases like, that's the game, you gotta play it. This is how the world works. It's not personal, it's just business. Everybody does it. But when wrong becomes identity, we stop striving for integrity. We start defending dysfunction instead of defeating it. Let me tell you, you were not born to adapt to a broken system. You were born to challenge it, to change it, and to create something better. Don't let culture define your conscience. You were created in the image of a holy, just, and righteous God, not in the image of the latest trend. Corruption as culture thrives when people confuse survival with surrender. But real leaders don't surrender, they reform. Another thing people forget that makes them to turn corruption to culture is that they forget that the legacy you leave is the standard you set. Culture isn't built in a day, it's built daily by what you allow, affirm, and act upon. If you are a parent, your children aren't just watching what you preach, they are becoming what you practice. If you are a leader, your team isn't shaped by your mission statement. They are shaped by the moment you choose integrity when no one's watching. You can't complain about the word you are unwilling to confront, and you can't transform a culture you continue to imitate. This is why Jesus didn't just challenge sin, he confronted systems. He flipped tables, he rebuked hypocrisy, he raised the standard, not to shame people, but to set people free. Freedom doesn't come from doing what you want. Freedom comes from doing what is right. So how do we break the cycle? Let's get practical. Number one is that you need to re-examine what you call normal. What's your normal? What's the new normal? You need to re-examine what you call normal. Ask yourself, what behaviors have I accepted because everyone does it? Where have I compromised in the name of convenience? Where have I compromised in the name of convenience? Write it down. Face it. Don't justify it. Judge it with truth. And what's the truth? The word of God. Another thing you need to do is to refuse to repeat what broke you. Some of you were raised around lies, manipulation, and moral compromise. But that doesn't have to be your legacy. Be the generational interruption. Stop the cycle. Build a new culture, one of truth, transparency, and trust. And number 3 thing you need to do practically is that you need to raise the standard, even if it means you standing alone. Raise the standard, even if you stand alone. Your example is more powerful than your opinion. You need to lead by character, not by crowd consensus. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 says that, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You need to renew your mind, reform your habits, resist the prayer to normalize what God calls sin. Here's my challenge to you. Be the kind of leader who makes corruption uncomfortable. In your family, in your workplace, in your school, in your community. It's easy to post about justice. It's easy to point at politicians and celebrities. But real transformation begins in the small, unseen moments in our everyday lives. What you privately protect is what your culture will publicly promote. So ask yourself, am I confronting or conforming? Am I building a legacy of excuses or a life of integrity? If this message challenged you, don't just move on, subscribe. This isn't just a channel, it's a call to rise above the noise, to stand for the truth, and to become the kind of leader that this world desperately needs. You were not born for compromise, you were born for conviction. So let's break the cycle. Let's stop justifying wrong and start living what's right, even when it costs us. When the standard is low, corruption feels like freedom, but when the standard is raised, freedom finally looks like truth. I will see you in our next video. Live well, lead boldly, and walk in truth.